In an in-depth interview that is now a hot discussion around the virtual world, Jimin finally opened his mouth. With a trembling voice, teary eyes, and a sentence full of wounds, he declared loudly and indisputably, "I can't take it anymore. We've been covering this up for too long. Jungkook is hiding something you should have known a long time ago." And from that moment on, the world was no longer the same. It all started as a quiet moment in a private documentary session that was not released to the public, but the leaked footage spread quickly like a virus. In the footage, Jimin can be seen holding a cup of hot tea, sitting restlessly, and then starting to speak in an unusual tone. No smiles, no laughter. There was only a face full of burden and a look in the eyes that could not hide the openness. His confession not only invites curiosity, but shakes the foundation of trust that has been built with the perfect image of BTS. Jungkook, he's not who you think he is. He's hiding something. Not a scandal, not a love affair, not even a question of a contract with HYB. It's deeper. It concerns who he really is. In an instant, the world of Maya was shattered. Army around the world in panic, bewilderment, wonder. What does Jimin mean? What has been hidden from the public? And why is he talking now? Jimin and Jungkook are known as an intimate duo, full of warmth, and often seen protecting each other. However, who would have thought that behind their sweet smiles and jokes, there is a distance that has been increasing over the past few years? According to several close sources who began to raise their voices, the difference in principles and the emotional burden that the two were carrying made their relationship slowly cool. "We used to share everything," Jimin says in another snippet of the recording. But since 2022, Jungkook has started to change. He's getting quieter, more introverted. Even to us, BTS members themselves. The signs of change have been visible for a long time. From the way Jungkook speaks in front of the camera, from his increasingly sad song choices, from his facial expressions that seem to store 1,000 words that have never been said. But everything was covered with such close professionalism that no one really suspected anything until now. What exactly is the big secret Jungkook is hiding? This question became the #1 trending on X, TikTok, to the world's major news portals in a matter of hours after Jimin's viral statement. Speculations have sprung up, from allegations about his real identity, mental health disorders, internal conflicts with management, to absurd rumors such as his involvement in a secret organization. However, pieces of information slowly began to unfold. One of them came from HYB's former staff who had worked closely with Jungkook during the preparation of his solo album. He mentioned that Jungkook had a great breakdown in the studio, cried for hours, and said words that made everyone there glued. "I'm tired of being the person everyone expects me to be. I don't even know who I am now." Why did Jimin choose to dismantle all this now? The answer was no less surprising. In a lengthy letter released exclusively by one of the Korean media, Jimin explains why. He can no longer bear to see his best friend tormented by false images, by unrealistic expectations, and by inner-gnawing silence. "I love him. But how can I be silent when he is slowly losing himself?" wrote Jimin. "Everyone says we are happy, but you don't know what happens when the studio lights go out." The letter went viral in minutes. Jungkook once said to me, "If I die smiling on stage, please don't tell me I'm happy." It turns out that this is not the first time Jungkook has given hints about his suffering. In several previous interviews, he often issued ambiguous sentences that are often considered a joke or just a philosophy of life. But now, it all sounds like a neglected cry for help. On a variety show in 2021, when asked about his dreams, Jungkook replied, "I just want to sleep and not wake up for a week. If you can, maybe forever." Everyone laughed at the time. But now, that sentence turned into a heart-rending cry of anguish. The world of K-pop is not just about music and visuals. It's a giant machine that grinds anyone who can't stand it. And now, after Jimin's confession, thousands of ARMY began to create hashtags #ProtectJungkook, #LetJungkookRest, and the most surprising, #FreeJungkook. In fact, several other idols also spoke up, supporting Jimin's statement and stating that the pressure in this industry is no longer humane. "What good is popularity if you have to lose yourself?" wrote one former idol who now chooses to withdraw from the entertainment world. After all this chaos, the public was looking forward to an official response from HYB. But as of the time this article was written, not a single statement has come out. No clarification, no defense, just silence. And as often happens, silence is the most painful answer. Now the public sees Jungkook in a different way. It is no longer just the always perfect golden magne. It's human, with wounds. with unbearable sadness, with secrets too heavy to keep alone. And it is precisely there that he becomes more real, closer, and more beloved. Hours after Jimin's confessional piece went viral across social platforms, BTS's various fan communities, both in South Korea and internationally, instantly exploded in an unprecedented storm of emotion. Twitter was filled with thousands of tweets with the hashtags #Jungkook please speak, #Tell us the truth JK, #We love you Jungkook, and one of the most heartbreaking hashtags, #Forgive us Jungkook.army, who had been worshipping the perfection and invincible aura of the golden magne, now saw a much different face, an ordinary human who was tired, fragile, and needed space to be himself. Many admitted that they regretted that they had been too demanding, too possessive, and unknowingly made Jungkook a puppet in their own expectations. "I helped make him lose himself," wrote one fan from Japan in his viral open letter. "I demand of him to always be happy, without ever asking what makes him really happy." Fans' cries flooded live streaming platforms, fan cafes, and even Jungkook's official Instagram account, which was suddenly flooded with comments full of apologies and sincere wishes for him to live freely. Not a few also started uploading videos of them crying on TikTok, while reading the contents of Jimin's letter in a trembling voice. Suddenly, on a dark night in Seoul, a post from an old account of a former HYBE creative staff member who has been inactive for a long time appears. The post contained a torn photo of a handwritten letter with Jungkook's signature writing, which fans immediately identified. The letter was written in 2021, shortly before BTS' comeback with the song Butter, and its contents literally stunned the K-pop world. "I think I'm strong. I thought I could stand continuously on stage and smile. But it wasn't. Sometimes I want to disappear. Sometimes I just want to be a regular Jungkook, who can buy ramen at the convenience store without being stopped. But am I wrong to want that?" The letter went viral in just 2 hours. Many have speculated that the letter was never actually sent and was kept by staff for fear of repercussions for BTS' image. But now, it's all revealed. And the world began to ask, if Jungkook has been feeling that way all this time, then what is really happening behind the magnificent BTS stage? It's not just fans who have been hit. Some Korean celebrities who are known to be close to BTS also took part in the speech. Ai wrote in her fanfiction, "Sometimes the people who smile the most are the ones who cry the most." Meanwhile, Girls' Generation's Tion said that the K-pop world is full of soul-destroying illusions. From outside Korea, singers such as Charlie Puth and Shawn Mendes even tweeted their support for Jungkook. "You are a light to millions. But don't forget, even light needs a break from its radiance," Mendes wrote. This is not just moral support. The musicians also called for the Korean entertainment industry to start improving.